What's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of everyone's favorite show. Nah, it's just Banter Blitz. I'm still glad to be back playing some Blitz after talking about Blitz for the last couple days and actually the next couple days. I was doing commentary on the Grand Chess Tour with the great Peter Svidler, and the Grand Chess Tour does not take much of a break. It's gonna restart. When is it restarting? Like Thursday? So I'm going to Leuven, I believe is the place called, in Belgium, to do commentary on the second leg of that one. And while we're here, the days in between, some stuff to do, but I'll try to get in a Banter Blitz today and possibly on Wednesday with, maybe we'll do something with our friend Niklas Oceanbait. I'm not sure yet. I'm not very good at planning ahead, but I am very good at crushing all of you, even though, gotta be honest, feeling a little tired, not sure how much crushing I'm gonna get in. We'll find out though, and we're gonna start right here, right now. The usual rules: challenge me to a game, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever makes you happy, on a Monday night. And we'll take it from there. Who do I play? What about David? Maybe David is just the guy I've been looking for. Does this stuff fit? More or less. And as we all know, if the board don't fit, you must quit. Therefore, it's very important that it fits. It's a bit of a giantish board. I'm already getting slightly tired of this colorway. Can I change it? I don't know. Maybe I'll change it. Let me check the settings. No, it's gonna look too messy. I'll do it after the game. See what other colorways we have. In the meantime, against David with a double A, which is an unusual spelling as far as I know, we are playing a Catalan. In the Catalan, yeah, I have a video series about Bishop E7, that's my main move. In Blitz I very often play DC4 because it wins a pawn, but for variety's sake, I'm gonna go with another main line, Bishop B4 check, and now you retreat, because in some lines this bishop is supposed to be a little misplaced on the D2 square, where I would rather go to B2 after B3, Bishop B2. See, now it's on this weird square. I believe Bishop B4 check is the main line. Next to Bishop E7 they have more or less similarly solid reputations. I slightly prefer Bishop E7 mainly for stylistic reasons, that here you get these kind of closed positions where I feel a little less at home than in the DC4 positions that are easier to handle. What else is going on? Bishop C3, I'm out of book. Knight E4 looks like a playable move. Bishop A6, Knight BD7, many options. I'll go Knight E4. I don't think that's what you're supposed to do. I guess you're supposed to go Bishop A6 or Knight BD7, Bishop B7. But there's been a bit of a recent trend to play stonewallish setups coming out of the Queen's Indian or the Catalan. Magnus Carlsen has done it a bunch of times. Therefore, how bad it can be, since he lost the tempo on Bishop C3, Bishop B2. And B6, Bishop B7 might look a little passive in this setting, but it's actually a fairly typical arrangement to give this bishop something to do in stonewall positions. I was just gonna say, I might have misplayed it a little bit, because I think I should have started with Knight D7 maybe, in order not to allow this immediate Knight E5. But what's done is done. Therefore, I'm going to have to live with this position, where he's managed to get the perfect arrangement of his pieces with Knight DF3 and Knight E5 a little faster than I would have liked him to. What are you going to do? I'd be tempted as white to go Knight to D3 here. That's normally the setup you want, keeping a grip on the E5 square, but avoiding exchanges there. He goes Rook C1. He's hinting at CD, CD, and trying to do something on the C file. I'm not that scared about it, so I'll allow it. CD, I'll go CD, Knight C6. I'm probably gonna take poor Rook on C8, something along those lines. How bad it can be? Can be a little awkward actually, but it doesn't look terrible. Let me briefly check in with the chat if there is complaints about audio, hair day, sweater, all that stuff. It's not even my sweater, to be honest with you. I borrowed it from Shachunsky the other day because it was really cold outside and I was planning to go there maybe after this game and return it. So I don't have my usual fake fancy clothes with me. But we're gonna live. I don't even like Breaking Bad that much, so it's really It's very awkward for me to wear a Heisenberg sweater. Therefore, I'm gonna sit like this for the rest of the show. In the meantime, chess-wise, I've clarified the structure. I was a little surprised that he went d5 so quickly and not knight takes e5, because I have a feeling I should be okay now, but it's still a fairly typical structure and full of life and tension. After cd5, it's a biggish decision and I might get it wrong if I should go ed or cd. I'm gonna go with ed, and I have mixed feelings about this. You could certainly make a case for cd as well. Not at all sure. I went ed because I thought that this pawn e5 could actually become a target in some lines. Let's say I go rook ae8 and g5 or whatnot, but I'm really not sure. David playing well. What can I do? I could go a5, hint at bishop a6 and maybe a4. Looks like a sensible thing to do. And yeah, the plan I mentioned looks half sensible as well. Rook a8, g5. Even though g5 kind of exposes this diagonal, so I better think twice before I do it. And after e3, it's just too tempting to go a5. Because it sets up a cheapo, threatening bishop a6, winning the exchange. Who doesn't love cheapos? He parried that. Maybe he didn't even think about rook ft1 as just a natural move. But having said a5, I might as well say b or a4 and try to put this rook to work on the a file. Phone stuff? What's going on? Oh, I got a Twitter mention that I'm playing Banter Blitz. Guess I should get back to tweeting more. I haven't been tweeting all that much in recent times. I never know what to say, talking idly to the world, but it looks weird on Twitter if all I do is promote my exciting Chess24 shows too. So I'm gonna have to put some more thought into my tweeting activities. I have a feeling I want to get my king out of the way. My first instinct was bishop a6 to threaten bishop c4, but then I thought, let's make a lazy waiting move and have him prevent my beautiful plan of activating this bishop by going knight to d4. Yeah, still a strange position, and I'm a little unhappy I allowed this actually. What to do? Can't think of anything very constructive. Nah, this doesn't look constructive at all. Yeah, I got nothing. I'll just sit here and run out of time. Or I'll panic and take this knight. One of the two. This greatly improves white structure after e takes d4. But I was hoping I would get some counterplay with this. However, can't really say I'm overly impressed with my performance in this game so far. Or maybe I'm very impressed with David's performance in this game so far, because he's playing well. Still, I will find a way. Where there's a will, there is a way. That's probably not an English expression at all, is it? In German we say stuff like that. We don't mean it, but we do say it. b6 pawn is hanging, but I'm not that concerned. I believe taking on a2, activating my rook, will be a good counter for that. And also I'm hoping that I'm threatening something on the king side. Don't really know what. Maybe f3, maybe knight f2. Something, yeah. So he gets rid of my scary knight. But after de4, white better be quick, because I'll get something done over here. e3, for example, pawn takes g3, exposing his king. I like my chances. Queen b6. Shall follow through with what I announced? Yeah, let's try. We have opposite color bishops. I don't know how that happened, but it did happen somehow. And with opposite color bishops, a wise man once told me that one should try to open the position to the max. No, he didn't tell me that. He told me something like initiative is very important with opposite color bishops because the attacker has an extra piece in the attack. This bishop doesn't look like much yet, I have to admit, but you never know. Having said all that, I will go back to my materialistic instincts. Can't think of anything better than taking this pawn, while David does what you're supposed to do with these things, which is to activate your pieces. I'm going to allow him to go rook c7, not because I calculated, but I had the feeling that in these complications after ef2, good things are about to happen to me. Bishop a6, queen a6 doesn't really work yet because of the queen c7. he has queen takes a2, even though even that might win after queen c2, for example. Not sure. But can't I go, let's say, here? Or, no, I have a more materialistic way. Took me a while to spot it, but if in doubt, grab material. And this seems to grab material, because queen b2, queen c7, and rook e7, rook b6 seem to wrap it up. Queen d6 smells a bit like desperation. And I have a little surprise in store with bishop a6 check, followed by f1 queen checkmate. Congratulations to me, but very good game by David. What's going on here? Why does this look so weird? I have an idea what's going on. But will I be able to fix it? That is the question. Because, as always, strange things happened. I'll do something. Nope, that was not it. I know this is everyone's favorite part of the show. Jan showing his design skills and talking about himself in the third person. Who would not enjoy that? We're gonna get back to playing some chess in like a minute probably. But until then I will stare into the middle of nowhere and randomly click on things. Alright, done clicking. Let's click on the next challenger. What we got? Logical nonsense. Is that a contradiction? I don't know. Let's play e4, just because I'm tired of all my knight f3, c4, g3 games. Let's give it a check. We have an upcoming video series by the one and only Grandmaster Robin van Kampen, who's done a very good series on the Rosalimo, knight c6, bishop b5, and now he's followed it up with a series on d6, bishop b5 check, which is a very serious move. Used to be considered a bit of a drawing line, but that has changed, and white now uses it as a main weapon, just as venomous as 3d4. I don't know much theory. You have two plans here. You can go c3, bishop c2 and d4, or you can go c4, knight c3, get the bishop out of the way, and then play d4. Since I played rook e1, I believe it would be more consistent to follow up with c3. But knight e5 is a typical idea in these positions, forcing me to take and changing the structure. I will try to make use of his early knight e5 by changing plans and going b3, then bishop b2, target that pawn, maybe go a4, knight a3, knight c4, stuff like that. I recall having seen something vaguely similar in, I believe, a Svidler game with black maybe, where he was suffering. Maybe it was against Magnus, not 100% sure, but it does look vaguely familiar. Queen d4 is logical, fighting against all my evil plans. Looks like I have to go knight c3. When queen d4 could either be very strong, or it could be a loss of time should I manage to develop bishop g4. He keeps playing very aggressively. Brief calculating break. I was wondering if knight takes e4 is possible, but it doesn't look like. I can take, then queen e4 drops the bishop, and queen a1. I just take on g4 as well. Therefore, it doesn't seem like Mr. Nonsense has anything better than bishop takes e2, unless he wants to go bishop e6 or bishop d7 or some weird move. When I'll take with the queen, then go bishop b2, and claim I'm better. Not sure I will actually be better, but I will certainly claim it. He does go knight e4. What am I missing? Let's find out. Found out what I was missing. He can take and then take on a1. Not that hard to spot if you're a decent chess player, but it's hard for the rest of us. So I'm going to have to make a virtue out of it and trap his queen. My great chess intuition says it couldn't really work, but I'm not going to pretend I calculate any of this. Still, he has a problem because bishop to a3 is coming up, and it's going to be very hard for him to get this queen out unscathed. Is that a word? Should be a word. He can try something like b5, bishop a3 takes, and b4, but he's going to be very seriously weakening himself in the process, and after knight to d5 at the end of that line, knight c7 is a threat, so it doesn't quite seem to work. Apologies. I've messed up my screen thingies, so I can only read like half the chat. A lot of questions, but as usual, if you're a premium member, then you can partake in the games. So I prefer those because I have to, and I also strongly recommend you going for it if you want to improve your chess skills, because yeah, it really does help. There's so much good material here. b4, I was talking about this earlier. I wanted knight to d5. Now I'm having second thoughts if queen e4 is not even stronger. And since I'm having second thoughts and I don't feel like entertaining any third thoughts, we don't have that much time. I'll start with queen e4. After knight d5, I wasn't sure I was winning after rook d8, even though I'm sure I am winning. But this looked pretty tempting as well. He goes long castles, which does look cute at first sight. But at second sight, I can grab some things with check. And note that he hasn't really developed all that many pieces, which normally is a problem. Like now I'm threatening a little check here, and I have a serious material advantage. So logical nonsense logically decided that what he did was nonsense, and therefore he resigns. Interesting game, and yeah, I didn't really calculate, but I don't think black can get away with this aggressive play. After b3 has to play more passively. But I think white is better. I know you go e6, bishop d6, or e6, knight d7, whatnot. I'm going to look it up. I'll check out Robin's series when it comes out. But so far, I'm pleased with my bishop b5 experience. Vlad Gita is summing up my typical day. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Certain secret parts of my day I'm not telling you guys about. But yeah, 98% is like playing Blitz against people I am like 1,000 points high rated, and then watching basketball. Speaking of watching basketball, it's gonna be a long, long night because it's game 5 of the NBA Finals. Our boy Draymond Green got suspended, which of course is a massive, massive scandal. But I still have faith that the Warriors can do it at home. They're gonna be playing angry, they're gonna give it their all. But of course, it is a huge loss for the team not to have Draymond. And should they lose this one and have to go back to Cleveland, all of a sudden Cleveland playing at home, then you never know. We could have a 7-game series at our hands. But I don't think this will happen. I believe the Warriors will get the job done tonight. There's also a little football tournament going on. I'm not really following very closely. I've watched most of the Germany match yesterday. They won against Ukraine. So, good news for Germany, but my problem with football still is it's so boring. Like, it's 90 minutes, nothing happens. Yeah, we're leading 1-0. Every 20 minutes someone like gets close to the goal and we're supposed to get all excited. But seriously, like, why is this the most beloved game on earth? I will never understand. Here I'm playing Martin Wells. I'm always nervous against guys who are rated exactly 1500 because it could be his first game and he's like world champion of chess. But bishop c5 is a move I don't think a world champion would play because he's losing time in the opening after d4. He can go bishop b4 check now, and he probably should. But it's going to be a tempo down to compared to the black game, which I just played. He plays bishop d6. But yeah, now it's a Catalan with a healthy extra tempo. Knight c3, dc4, many options. Queen a4 check comes to mind. e4 is certainly possible as well, but I like getting my pawn back ASAP. So let's give a check. Bishop d7, queen takes c4, and in general the structure, if black does not get in, is quick c5, which is going to be hard to do here. Tends to favor white. Knight c6, I guess the idea is to play e5, but since he lost a little time, I have a feeling that might be tough to manufacture. Now I could go e4, then black would have to play e5. Something like takes twice, followed by f4. Looks pretty decent for white. Somehow I want more. Can't see anything better. I don't know, I'll play a half-baked waiting move. Great movie, Half-Baked. And see what Martin Wells is up to. Not so sure about rook d1. Still, after a6, I was hoping that now my e4 cruel intentions gain in strength a little bit, because the rook might be able to do something useful along the d file should these things happen. b5 makes sense, but my queen has a very comfortable square here, And now I'm threatening e5, so Martin Wells' reaction will determine where we go from here. He could go b4 before I go e5, but I ain't that worried. And rook e8 kind of shows that Martin is new to chess, because allowing this fork tends to be very bad news for you. Bishop b4, and I'll keep it simple, just grab the knight and end the fight. Queen takes. Bishop g5 makes sense. But this looks pretty strong as well. No, I haven't seen the latest Game of Thrones yet. I'm looking forward to it though. As mentioned, with the busy sports season, like, my TV intake has slowed down a bit, but I'll get around to it ASAP. Martin Wells is in some kind of trouble, because best he can do is knight e5, de, queen e7, but then I could just take on a8 and be a rook up to add insult to injury. I was gonna say something, but I didn't think it through. I'll think it through. I'm really struggling with my TH. I used to be pretty good at THs, but recently I've lost it and my pronunciation has become more German than ever. Think it through. So I'm gonna have to work on that, because the thing with the thing with the TH is that if you're gonna say an F instead of the S, it doesn't sound that bad. So if you say thing with th, it's better than the thing with the th. And yeah, I'm gonna have to go to my vocal cords coach and have a serious conversation about it. Anyway, this was the cheapo I was trying to get in. That's why I went rook, bishop. See, really struggling here. Rook takes d7, and then queen e4 with a double attack against b4 and a8. And I thought from a distance, very far distance, like a move ago, that was very hard to keep both these pieces alive. If I'm allowed to grab here, grab this one, I'll be like 2 pieces up, which should do the job. I haven't watched The Night Manager. What's that? Rook d8, queen takes b4. And 2 pieces are 2 pieces. Why is my little program screen so big here? Normally I'm able to shrink it, but now when I shrink it, maybe they've done something. What do you call this? Responsive design thingy? Because whenever I try to shrink it, like half of it disappears. It's all very confusing. Is it called responsive? I don't have a clue. Queen c6, I'm sorry, I was very distracted as usual. What can we do about queen c6? Given the circumstances, Martin Wells has done well, but he's still 2 pieces down. Therefore, I don't think it's a situation that can be solved without major damages to his piece count. That didn't make any sense. Looks like the TV show talk is in full swing in the chat. Someone's plugging Bloodline. Yeah, Bloodline is one of these. I've read some reviews and it feels like it's one of these good, not great shows, which, since I'm so incredibly busy, I've decided to skip. But I've heard some people recommending it, especially if you're from the Florida Keys, which I'm not, but I've been there. So yeah, it's on that list, like sitting there on my Netflix, and I always think, do I really want to start Bloodline? Do I want to spend 12 hours on season 1? And then I think, nah, not gonna be able to do it. So much basketball to watch. But the basketball season is over soon. Therefore, I might have to, start looking for some TV shows I would enjoy. Not sure which one. Vlad Gita has issued a challenge. White every game today? I like being white every game. Time for d4. What's wrong with d4? You centralize a pawn, it's protected by your queen, so it's a lot less risky than e4. This pawn on c4 is not protected by your queen, which is a bit of a drawback, but you have to just fight through it and try not to blunder it. Looks like we're gonna have another one of these King's Indians, where recently I've experimented by playing e3, knight e2. Promise I've never looked at it at all, and normally I tend to be sort of lost out of the opening whenever I do this, but it's a setup that makes a fair amount of sense to me, because you leave this bishop open, it has a clear view towards the black king's queen side, and you can just grab some space here and see what happens. At least that's my reasoning, but I should really study it at some point. Because I always get in trouble quickly after some ed knight b6. And I never learn. That's the bad thing about me. I'm incapable of learning new things at my advanced age. Rook b8, I'm not sure what he's defending against. b5, c5. I'm also not sure what I'm supposed to do. I have a feeling he wants to go knight to b6. So I'm gonna use all my prophylactic thinking skills and prevent that, because now c4 is covered. Therefore knight b6 I would just go a5. And it's not obvious to me how he wants to arrange his pieces. Maybe knight f8, but then some move like h3, stopping bishop g4. It feels like I should be doing kind of alright. We'll see how it goes. Maybe he's thinking about thinking. See, I'm really losing it with this th is the issue. c6 is a surprise because I can target that d6 pawn, or at least I would hope so. Give me that. Especially after rook b8. Now the counterplay might come too late. Queen e7, can I go c5? I kind of want to go c5. Guess he wants to go dc. Then bishop b8 should work. And even bc would give me a pretty nice position. So let's see what Vlad Gita plans to do about it. He does take bishop b8, cb4, too complicated. I'll just go bc when he can keep his rook, but it's not a move you play with a smile on your face to go all the way back to the corner. Therefore, yeah, I quite like my position. Of course, he doesn't have to move the rook, but I will take a next move if given the chance. Knight h5 gives me a bit of a choice to throw in bishop d6 first, and I think I'll do that. Before this bishop gives his life for the greater good, let's have him have one last hooray, tackling the enemy's queen. Queen e6, but now I shall take. And I don't know, it's tempting to make like more intermediate moves. Bishop h3 comes to mind. But the position is fairly winning now, because I'm just an exchange up. And as long as I don't screw up, that should be enough. Capable of screwing up, of course. Bishop h3 is the move I want to play. But I don't want to have to deal with rook takes e2, bishop c8, rook c2. So I'll just go rook e1. Overprotect the pawn on d4. Maybe I want to go d5, open things up. And yeah, an exchange is an exchange. I might be overusing that phrase just a tad. But what to do? Let's see if Vlad Gita has any fight left in him. He goes a5. Is it time for d5 already? Yeah, I feel it's time. Goes back. I shall go forward. Nah, probably not yet, because it could be a mistake to blunder this knight. So I'll try to keep it alive for now. What does he want? Bishop g4 maybe? Everything kind of wins, but I feel like I'm screwing around a little bit here. Yeah, I've been drifting a bit, but the position is too good for not forgiving me these sins. For these sins? Could go bishop f7. Don't really want to though. Knight d6, rook e2, knight c8. Oh, I'm also low on time. All this talking. Time to speed up a little bit. A tad. push the speed button here, which gained me some more material, but it's only 30 seconds left. But Vadgita believes in my flagging skills and resigns. Yeah, that was my first good game with this e3 knight e2 setup, which I promise I will study one day, but I've made these empty promises about many a line in these shows. Never quite happens. Who else could possibly be around? Looking for noobs, that's what I do. Not necessarily rating-wise, but guys I haven't played yet. And Alejo Manuel Toledo seems to fit the bill. Probably a new premium member from Argentina. Another place I've never been. I would quite like to go. So many places, so little time. And Let's Play is Sicilian. Maybe it's time to unleash the dragon one more time. Dragon is probably the Sicilian I know best. I don't play it much because I don't fully trust it. But I've spent quite a bit of time on it. And yeah, it's a pity it's not a better opening. It looks so nice. It has a cool name. It's a cool reputation. It's just, yeah, it's not that good. But Alejandro is allowing me some freedom here. Yeah, I'll go for this. Normally, white is supposed to, instead of bishop d3, to go bishop e3 and then f3, also to stop me from messing around with moves like knight to g4. Because knight takes e3 would of course be a positional achievement, getting rid of this bishop for the knight, ideally even ruining white's pawn structure, so you can't really allow that. I was expecting him to go knight takes c6 now, but after b takes c, if bishop to d4, which looks natural, then e5 seemed like a strong move. Well, after queen d2, I can just take here and have a pretty good position because of my two bishops and extra control of the center due to the fact that I have a pawn on c6, which now, for example, controls the d5 and b5 square. Not really, for example, that's exactly the squares it controls. But I'm saying that this is a very comfortable position for black with the two bishops, the half-open b-file, the central control, all that good stuff. This more or less plays itself, unless you misplay itself. Rook b8, planning to take on b2, setting up some tricks, which I'm not sure I'll actually go for. If he goes rook b1, I could go rook takes b2, rook b2, bishop c3. But it feels like it's not really necessary to give up this lovely bishop just to win a pawn. Rook fb1 makes it even more tempting. But I have a feeling I have time, and I'll improve my position first. I'll castle, then maybe go bishop e6, and one day or another I'm going to take on b2, rook b2, and then bishop c3. Should win at least a pawn. I really want more. He could try to... no, b4, I'll just take... Yeah, it's a pretty desperate situation already. Because this rook on a1 does not have a legal move, which is normally not what you want from your rooks. a3, is it time to take? I don't know, I'd feel bad about taking this. Then again, I really like pawns. Is there a forced win? Rook b2, bishop c3, queen c1. Can't see anything. If bishop e6, I guess he wants to go b4. Then queen e5. I'm still better, but I'm not winning material. Yeah, tough choice. And with a heavy heart, I will go for the pawn grab, because that's what I do. I still feel bad about this, though. Fisfo. Siso. Grandmaster, that's TH situation. What are we talking about in the chat? Something looked like a B movie? Lola Renta, it's a German movie. Yeah, it's okay, but I felt it was a bit overhyped. Didn't quite do it for me. Ambitious Pawn is saying he is basically a player in the chat. I don't know, Ambitious Pawn. But thanks for the offer. What else am I missing? Suki Ray wants to start a program called Banter Blitz, starring himself. Yeah, it sounds like an interesting idea. I'm not against it. Which kind do you like? This part always makes the show more clumsy because I'm staring over there and no one really knows what I'm talking about while I'm reading the chat on the chess24.com site, not on the YouTube. I believe we call it the YouTube, just as we call it the Twitter. In the meantime, there's still a game going on here against Alejo Manuel Toledo, who has lost his pawn, but yeah, I had to pay a bit of a price for grabbing it, and I wasn't that excited about it. So now I'm going c5. If he takes on e7, my plan is to go c4, bishop somewhere, queen to d2, but I don't think I've handled this situation particularly well. f4 seems to, strikes me as a mistake because he's weakening his king's position and he doesn't really gain all that much for it. So now my devious queen d2 plan gains in strength quite a bit. Also targets the f4 pawn. Queen e3 check is in the air tonight. c2 pawn is hanging, and so on and so forth. That's kind of bad news for white, I would guess. SD Bates is trying to help me with my newly discovered TH problem. I don't know, not gonna be able to do it. Fee, fin, thieves, fought. It's very tough. I'll get it done. I think I can normally do it, but yeah, sometimes I just forget. Does that sound credible? I don't know. I'll grab pawns. I never forget how to grab pawns. That is the one thing that I have mastered. Give me that. Ambitious pawn knows how to have fun. Yeah, I don't. I'm German. We don't really do fun. It's all self-conscious misery. That's the brand that I'm dealing in. And I shouldn't say it's because I'm German, really. It's nothing to do with that. It's just it's just how I like to roll. Not a big fan of fun. Hang on, I attacked this rook. This rook. Gimme. And Alejo Manuel Toledo resigns because, yeah, that's a tough loss for Team White Pieces. Thanks for the game, Alejo Manuel Toledo. Can I play somebody else? Who would be fun to play? Maybe this guy. e4 again? Running out of moves against e4. Let's play the modern 1499 once again. That's a little scary. Whatever is very close to 1500 scares me because it could be a new guy and I can't evaluate his strength accurately. The modern, yeah, I've played the modern way too much throughout my childhood. And by childhood, yeah, I keep saying childhood. I mean my teenage years when I was getting more into chess and studying chess. So I have quite some experience in all these systems. It's not bad, it's also not great. And generally, I don't fully trust either the Austrian attack or these systems with bishop e3, queen d2, trying to checkmate you early for black all that much. So yeah, it's not my main weapon of choice, but I'm not really against it. It's not terrible and it leads to a board full of pieces. Therefore, yeah, you can do it. a6, b6, one of many possible approaches here. Knight c6 is a move as well, bishop g4, c6, and so on and so forth. Fourth. See, there we are again. Oh boy. As if I needed more things to be self-conscious about. Queen d3. What do I do? Knight c6, knight b4 strikes me as some sort of idea. Normal move would be knight bd7, intending to go e5 or c5. So many options. We'll go knight c6 just because it looks goofy. What's going on in the chat? Looks like there's still a TV show discussion. Yeah, even though I'm wearing a Heisenberg sweater, not really a big Breaking Bad guy. I've seen it all, but I thought I thought the characters were so unlikable that I really found it hard to root for Walter or his drug addict friend. So, I don't know. It's masterfully done and all that stuff. But I wasn't that much into it. I've seen the first season of Better Call Saul. I enjoyed that one greatly. The second season they lost me somewhere during this Sandpiper case, which no one really cares about. I think what happened is after the unexpected huge success of the first season, that they decided, you know what, we have like stuff for 2 seasons, that was a plan, but let's drag it out over 5 seasons, and the show lost a bit of speed. So I kind of jumped ship on the Better Call Saul bandwagon. Now the expression, it doesn't make sense. In the meantime, in the game, I've won the e5 pawn. So things are looking up. And I'll just take here. Enjoy my extra pawn. White should go a5 here. And after b5 goes c4, trying to rectify his pawn structure. He starts with c4, but now I'll use the breather to fix his weakness on a4. Hopefully put my bishop on c6, rook to d8. And if I manage to do these things, my extra pawn should convert itself with relative ease. More TV show discussions. Yeah, Rick and Morty is fantastic. As I've mentioned on the show, I've seen a fair bit of Archer as well. I enjoy it. I don't have to see every episode. But whenever, yeah, I can't find anything to watch, I switch on an episode on Netflix. And it is fun. It's good writing. House of Cards I wasn't into. Ever since Kate Mara disappeared from the show, which is like 3 years ago, so that's not a spoiler. I kind of gave up. Because Kate Mara is the better Mara. You Rooney Mara head out there. You're wrong. You're just wrong. Kate Mara is the better Mara sister. I know that's a big rivalry. I don't know. Someone's mentioning Friends is a great show. I'm not a fan. Like, Jennifer Aniston tilts me greatly. She's never done anything wrong. Or I'm sure she has, but I don't know of it. But she just upsets me anyway. I'm a big Jennifer Aniston hater. I even watch like her critically acclaimed movies like this movie Cake, which is a totally ridiculous movie, just to be full of more hate. For no reason whatsoever. It's just, yeah, since I don't really deal in fun, I replace it with hate. My heart is filled with hate. And yeah, watching Jennifer Aniston is one of these vehicles that gets me going. So no, I'm not a Friends guy. What other TV shows are we discussing? Yeah. The IT Crowd, yeah, I've seen some. I might have seen all of the IT Crowd. It's this like British comedy that was before. It was the big nerds show before Big Bang Theory. Yeah, a bit over the top. Like there's funny stuff, but didn't quite do it for me. Video quality problems, I think I'm saying I think too much. Because I don't really think that much. Anyway, it should be fine. I'm streaming at 1080 something, which really is way more than you need to watch like a chess game with a dude in a hoodie talking about it. It's not like I need you to see every pimple on my face. And Fun to Play resigns because he ran into this lethal pin. But he's been in trouble for a while because I grabbed a couple of pawns, as I do when I can. Thank you for the game, Fun to Play. It was fun indeed. Sorry, I didn't pay that much attention to the strategy discussion, but I got into discussing TV show strategy, which of course is highly important to all of us as well. Who's the new dude? Can't find anybody new for now. I'll click on Nermit 2603. Let's see what Nermit wants to be. Doesn't make any sense either. My rhyming skills are really at pretty basic levels. The Juco piano. Who does not enjoy a good old Juco piano snooze fest? C3, D3. If I go knight f6, you could go d4. Let's see if Nermit is up for that. I have a vague recollection. I think I've played Nermi before and he might have done this. I'm not sure it was him. But d4 is a gambit line here, which I don't think is correct. But I have that general problem with gambits. I don't think any of them are correct. But then I don't look at them in enough detail. And people do them against me and just crush my spirits. But it looks like we're playing a standard Gioco piano. My general advice is, yeah, go d6, a6, bishop a7, ASAP in whatever order and take it from there. It's not the most exciting positions on the planet, but they're quite playable. Here, I more often than not go h6, and I'll do it again. Castles bishop g5 I don't think is a big threat, and the big guys don't seem to mind allowing this pin. But I normally try to stop it if I get the chance. d4 immediately, that is rare. It doesn't really threaten anything, so I'll just castle and see what he's up to. Maybe I could have tried to exploit it by going bishop to g4. But how bad can castles really be? h3 makes lots of sense because you gotta stop me from going bishop g4. I'm slightly regretting that I didn't do it instantly. Here I still have some decent options, but I can't decide. I think I'll go with this, but I'm not sure if this is good. This might actually be bad. We get, after e5, which I'm expecting, knight to e4, a typical-ish structure, but I'm not sure my a6, bishop a7 setup is so ideal in these positions, especially since he can go knight c3, and it would kind of cripple my bishop. Yeah, I've misplayed this, and I kind of saw that going in. But I did it anyway, because I'm not very bright. Still, gotta live with what we got on the board. But with this bishop alone on a7, blocked by the white structure, my position does not look very nice. Still, I'm gonna try to hang in there. Not quite sure how to arrange my pieces, since he can always go bishop a3. This rook probably has to go to e8. Guess it's unrealistic to try to play for f6. So I'm just going to play queen d7, some rook to e8, and see what happens. I'm wondering if I should go knight a5, but probably I shouldn't do it deliberately, because any exchange really pronounces my misplaced bishop on a7. Yeah, it's a very bad position for me. I don't know why I embarked on this EDD5 operation. That was just stupidity. Queen d2, does he want to take here? Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. Will we find out? Do I want to find out? I think I want to find out. I'm so materialistic that I'm going to encourage him to sacrifice. Even though it is fully warranted on the strength of my bishop being an idiot on this a7 square alone. I'm going to try to regroup my knight, not bring it to a5, which might have made sense too, but to bring it to e6 instead. I'm slightly concerned, and I should probably be more than slightly concerned, that once it arrives on e6, bishop h6 gains in strength. Because currently, if he takes on h6, gh, I hope I can defend by playing a move like queen to e6 or rook to e6, and using one of my heavy pieces to defend along the 5th rank. But the moment I go knight e6, bishop h6 becomes a lot more scary, since that line of defense no longer exists with the knight here. I might still do it, especially now, but I have to think about it very carefully. Knight e6, bishop h6, gh, queen h6. I would have to do something very, very quickly, like f6. Ooh, it's very scary. Ef, queen h7. Let's do it. My gut feeling is I'm very possibly lost in some of these lines. And yeah, would be well deserved, because the bishop really is not where it's supposed to be. But it looks like Nermit is trying to play the position more slowly. And can't really blame him, because he does have time. If I do nothing, he wants to go g4, f4, f5 and crush me. I don't want to be crushed, so I'll do something. Even though it concerns me too, because I still suffer from bishop on a7itis. I have a feeling something has to be done. Well, it's better if he takes rook f6, let's say knight g4, I probably have to take it, and I'm still stuck with this guy. I'm hoping he can make a comeback after c6, bishop b8, but I'm not that sure. Knight f3 also very strongly comes into consideration, and that's what he goes for. Just trying to put the knight on e5. Who can blame him? Yup, it's a sad, sad situation. But it ain't over. Not sure where to put my queen, so I'll choose a random square. And c4 is also quite consistent, trying to bring his own bishop back to life. Wondering if I can get away with taking. It feels very scary. Yup, still scared. Something bad is gonna happen to me. d5. Hey. What am I doing? Why am I such a putzer? Stop making sounds, phone. I got my hands full here trying to survive this position, which I probably won't. Shut up, phone. Won't shut up. Nermit is considering d5, and I can't see how to survive. Goes g4 first, also legit. Do I have to go bishop h7? I guess so. f4, interesting. At least he doesn't go d5, which scared me greatly. Do I have tricks? Knight d4, it doesn't seem to work. Neither does knight f4. I guess he just wants to go f5 now, yeah? Doesn't look like I can stop him from doing so. Or does he want g5? Oof, there's so many options. Very scary. Probably g5 wins. Yep, here we go. Knight d4, bishop d4. Doesn't seem to do anything for my position either. This, here's a check, and bishop d3. Or the immediate bishop d3. It's all bad, so I'm gonna have to make moves quickly and hope to somehow survive, but likely it not is. That wasn't even Yoda speak, that was just dumb. Queen e2, knight g5. It's all scary. Queen h5, queen h6, queen e8. I don't know, man. Nah, it doesn't really seem to work either, does it? What can I do? This can't work, but yeah, I want to go knight g5, but I really couldn't calculate it. And now I'm just, am I busted? I should be busted. I deserve to be completely busted here, but I'll let him show it to me. Oh, gee, rook e7. Oh man, that's just sad. Yeah, of course, I'm totally lost. I'll offer a draw if he doesn't want me to do my flagging routine. Nah, he does accept the draw. Yeah, good game by Nermit, who really crushed me. I had a feeling I was sort of hanging around, but after queen e2, my big plan was to take here queen h5, queen h6, queen e8. But I couldn't see anything, and probably that's because I'm a rook down and there is nothing. Yeah, it's just lost. Knight h3, king anywhere, king g2. I doubt. Well, I have some desperate checks, but it shouldn't. Yeah, shouldn't really be enough. And after g6, which, yeah, I played out of desperation. Of course, I'm lost because of knight g6, queen h5. So, very good game, Nermit. who really, yeah, did put me under tons of pressure after my extremely dumb decision in the opening. Like, this position has to be fine, rook e8 or any normal move. I think precisely rook e8 actually, and I think black is totally fine, but ed and d5 with a bishop on a7 is just insanity. After e5, knight e4, knight c3, my position is already very, very bad. So I shouldn't have done this. I have an urgent thing to do. I'll be back in 1 minute, 28 seconds. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen, the great show where I play Blitz and get and talk about TV shows while I do it. Just had a very tough game against Nermit, who outplayed me, and only the clock situation allowed me to escape with a draw. Let's play against Sliff, how do you pronounce it? Sly? I don't know. Knight f3. And c4. This is my boring go-to stuff. People are talking about the Payet song. Yeah, I've heard of the Magnus video, I haven't actually seen it, but as I mentioned, I'm not really much into football, so I don't really know the backstory to all this stuff. It's like a West Ham United fan song or whatever. Yeah, not really. Not really up to date on it. Like, if you want to discuss the new Curry 2 shoes or stuff like that, then I'm all game, but the football stuff I'm really not booked up. SD Bate says Peaky Blinders was boring. That's a fantastic show. What are you talking about? Some chess discussion. Just catching up with the chat here. Knight h5. That's a sideline which I once knew something about, but those times are past. I'll just go g3. I'm sure there's other moves here. But knight h5 says, I want to go knight f4, and I'm saying, I don't want you to go knight f4. General f5 is not a big threat as long as the center is opened. I'm saying as long as white hasn't played d5, f5 tends to be very committal for black, like de and bishop g5, and all kinds of active things to do for white. Bishop h3, I guess this is probably some sort of theory. Don't really know it, but I don't have much of a choice but moving my rook to e1. And now this knight on h5 has to be justified. And Slife says, yeah, okay, I'll go back. Can I use that by doing some weird stuff like de and bishop g5? Maybe not. Guess a quality player would just play d5 here and play that type of position. But I've been called many things. Quality player hasn't been one of them. I'm more of a let's exchange things player. No, but seriously, I'm trying to punish this knight f6 retreat. And I was hoping I can do it like this, takes rook d8, knight d5, but I'm not 100% sure that my reasoning is accurate here. After I have to think about knight takes e5. And the typical counter is knight takes e4. And I have a feeling I should have some trick, but I'm not sure. Knight e5, knight e4, knight e4, bishop e5. Bishop g5 looks logical, winning some time. There's also knight g5 and bishop f3. Let's find out. Sorry. So yeah, this is what I was talking about. Knight f7 I don't think works because of knight takes c3. And the trick I was hoping I had here, I'm very uncertain about it, was knight g5, intending bishop to f3 with a double attack against b7 and e5. But now that I see the position on the board, after knight g5, he does have bishop c8 and bishop f3. I still have some initiative there. Let's see. I think I have to, first of all, I think I have to stop saying I think. Secondly, after bishop c8, bishop f3. Yeah, this was my plan, but we'll see how great it is. The point is I'm threatening rook takes e5 and bishop takes b7. He probably has to go knight to d7, bishop b7, rook b8, then bishop to d5. And I was hoping that, yeah, my activity would pay dividends. Not sure. Ando is siding with Skip Bayless. I enjoy watching Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith, but I also understand what line of work they're in. It's the hot takes, create controversy, get people all riled up on the internet. And no, I do not believe that the Bulls would crush the Warriors 4-0. The game has changed. People get better at stuff. And that applies even to basketball. The Bulls didn't really, join that three-part revolution. The game evolves. I think cross-era comparisons are silly in any sport or game. And even in chess, I don't normally think they make any sense. But, of course, you get clicks with that stuff. As for this game, I'm not going to get a lot of clicks, but I did get a pawn. It is opposite color bishops, so some theoretical drawing chances. However, my pawn structure is also healthier, therefore I quite like my chances. f3, typical move, just trying to restrict his light squared bishop and trying to not get checkmated in some lines after bishop e4 or bishop h3. Yeah, black has difficult task trying to survive this position. I would probably go rook b8, b3, a5, at least trying to liquidate some of the queenside pawns, but it won't be easy or fun. At least for him. I do like 90s rap, but that's just because I'm old and I've never really developed a more mature music taste. So you kind of get stuck with whatever music you listen to between ages 16 and 18, I believe. In my case, that was 90s rap. When was I 16? 95 or something? I might be revealing my very advanced age here. But yeah, I do like that stuff. All kinds of different things. I still listen a lot to Tribe Called Quest and that kind of nonsense. That's probably not 95, that's earlier, but I do like them. Sometimes I try like listening to what the kids are into. No, I'm not much of a gangster rap guy. I was always more in the backpacker camp, like Talib Kweli, Mos Def, Tribe Called Quest. Those types of dudes. The first Kanye album. I'm not saying Kanye is or was a backpacker, but College Dropout I thought was fantastic. But yeah, the modern stuff, like I listen to some contemporary rap as well. But find less stuff I like. I'm trying to get into the new Drake album, but haven't been able to do it. What do I like? I sound so grandfatherly. I do enjoy the Meek Mill album. What's it called? I don't know what it's called, but I do enjoy it. Back in the day when Meek Mill was still a respected rapper and not the guy who lost the beef as rappers say, their Twitter beefs against Drake. Yeah, as usual, I haven't focused much on the game, but I still do have my healthy extra pawn and my healthy extra 2 minutes, so things are looking pretty good. Not sure I should have allowed him to get his pawn all the way to a4, but still a tough position to hold. Check. Just trying to be annoying and forcing him to go back. Don't really have a plan. Still don't have a plan. But as a rule of thumb, you want to place your pawns on squares where they restrict the enemy bishop and then make your opponent blunder a rook. That is the normal conversion strategy. h6 doesn't really change the equation all that much. Thank you, Slife, for the game. Problems with the streaming? What line am I on? Streaming should be fine, I believe. What time is it? 9:07. I was planning to go to the gym to work on my hulkish physique, but it closes at 11, so I might not be able to do it. I'll play till 9:30. I always tend to do around 90 minutes. Then have a long conversation with my lazy self if we still want to go to the gym. Probably it's going to say, nah, you won't have time to complete your full workout, and therefore why not do it tomorrow? That's how these conversations tend to end. I'm playing Julian Fr2, whom I've never played in the meantime. He goes c4 g6, which is legit. e4 is a surprisingly trendy move here. The thinking behind this is if you go d4 instead, people go knight f6 and then knight c3, d5. You get into Grunfeld positions, which you can't get into if white starts with e4. And after bishop g7, d4, he's, well, not forced, but likely to enter a King's Indian or Benoni type of position, c5, d5, or d6, which people theoretically prefer to Grunfeld positions, even though I've lost more games in the King's Indian than any other opening. e6 is sort of mixing things. Not necessarily bad, but it's certainly a risky plan. I'll try to punish it by going h4 ASAP. My more standard development would be whatever. Knight f3, d5, cd, ed, e5. When white should be a bit better, but why not go h4, h5, h6 and try to grab this bishop. Here we go. Typical reaction to h4 is actually to play h6 and then to meet h5 with g5. But it looks like Julian Fr2 is not that impressed with my h-pawn march yet. Not sure I'm that impressed with it myself, but it's annoying for black. You can't really castle kingside with such a clear conscience, and you always have to at least consider trouble after h6 or after hg6. What do I want to do though? I'll go h6. I'm not sure this is the way to do it. My idea was actually, but I'm having second thoughts about it, to meet bishop f6 with e5, d, e knight, e4. But I can't really see any big trick if he just takes on d4 then. I have one check on it, d6, but it doesn't look like it's finishing the game. So humble pie it is, bishop e3, get some pieces out. Sad face. b6, I'm still so tempted, but not gonna be able to do it. No, I've allowed Julian Fr2 to make it out of the opening with a slightly dubious setup. Queen c7, however, is a provocation that I shall not let slide. Because knight b5 with tempo, getting closer to this d6 square, should really tip the scales in my favor. And queen c6, I thought I could go here, and all of a sudden this queen might have only a guest starring role in this game, because look at her. If she goes to b7 after knight d6 and knight b7, she's gonna disappear. Black queen is like Ian McShane on Game of Thrones in this game, really. Like, has a strong impact and then gets killed. I guess that was a spoiler, but since it's more than a while ago, I think you can't escape the conversation of what happens on the show anyway, and it's fair game to mention stuff that wasn't on the latest episode. Now I feel bad about my spoiler, so I want to apologize. But I still think those are the rules in these fast-paced times we're living in. Really didn't think about it, I was just thinking, trying to make a clever comparison. I feel so sorry. Send your complaints about all the spoilers you are not watching the show for to support@chess24.com. Trying once again to find an opponent I haven't faced yet. What's going on? We're not getting any new premium members? That'd be so sad. But we have Peter W. Peter W. for the win. 1 second. Ugh. Yep, here we are. Peter W. D4. Says, hi Jan. Hi Peter. Is that Peter Wells? The English Grandmaster? That'd be kind of scary if he was. Why don't you have a GM title? Are you Peter Wells? Don't scare me. We'll find out. D5, bishop g5. I'll play an unsound gambit. C5, this is a line I've looked at. It's not very good, unfortunately. But it is sort of fun to at least look at. CD, queen d4 is the main move. Bishop e7. Then you hope for the best. But the best is not very good. And he's blitzing out moves. Looks like he actually knows what he's doing here. Well, I really don't. Do I castle? I should know, at least know the theory of my unsound gambits, but I'm not sure if I'm supposed to start with knight c6 or with castles. Yeah, that's one of my sadder, unknown, unsound gambit outings. But castle, he goes knight f3. I guess it's all theory. And now I'm supposed to take something here on e4. Yeah, lesson to be learned here, kids. If you're gonna play unsound gambits, at least have some sort of clue what you're doing. We'll see. He's thinking at least, so I'm not gonna lose to like 20 blitzed out moves. I can't see a direct refutation. If e d5, bishop takes g5, then knight takes g5, yeah, I can just take, and I seem to be in the game. Knight d5, bishop g5, knight g5. I can go e d5, and this knight is en prise. So the most solid is probably to just take on e7 when I have to recapture with a knight. Maybe white is a tad better, but it doesn't look all that scary. So maybe things are okay. And I vaguely recall that instead of knight f3, you're supposed to go queen d2 or something, but really not very sure. I should probably switch back to the game position because it is my move, bishop e7. I have to go for this. Pre-move this in case it happens. And yeah, not the most exciting off positions, but at least the worst should be over for black. Keeps the queens on the board, fair enough. But I don't mind my position all that much. It's more or less symmetrical pawn structure. Never fine squares for my pieces. I should be doing kind of okay. What these squares are is unclear at the moment though. I don't really want to allow him to go e5. If I go knight e5, could maybe get a bit of initiative after takes. Let's say bishop d7, bishop e2, bishop d7, f4. But okay, I've played so slowly, it's time to speed up a bit. Now this is clearly a very strong chess player, whoever it is. Maybe it's Peter Wells, maybe not. But he's playing extremely well, so I have to be very alert in order to not end in the dirt. Now he wants to go f4, but it feels like the moment has passed where it really scares me, especially after rook fd1. So things should be okay-ish. Queen f4. Alright, I'll go away, I guess. Nah, no queen exchanges. I want checkmate. After queen g3, queen exchange. No. Oh, he still has queen g3. I thought I was winning. Got a little excited there for no particular reason. Like, I'm doing very, very well, but I thought it was game over. Thought I was winning the rook. Not the case. Still, my position is very nice now, because I'm controlling the open file, and my pieces are actually better connected than his pieces. Better coordinated, I should probably say. But I said connected. My e5 was kind of unnecessary. Yeah, I'm playing badly, but fast. You can't play badly and slowly, but badly fast is accepted, as is well and slowly. Just the combination tends to bring you down. The slow badly combination is what I'm talking about. Pity to concede the d file, but I thought it made sense given the circumstances. Have I blundered rookie something? That'd be another pity. But maybe it's not fatal yet. Yeah, still given up my once tremendous advantage. What was that? And I'm hallucinating, I'm sorry, this is pathetic. I thought I had to cover the e6 pawn and failed to cover my knight. Time to go home. This is just sad. I guess I'll flag, but I'll feel bad about myself. Yeah, sorry, Peter W. That was embarrassing. He played very well. But I still had a very good position. Like even somewhere around here, and then just played terribly. Bishop e4, first of all. Blundering rook e3. Which I still have a feeling that there should be a way to extricate myself, but maybe there isn't actually. And after f5, yeah, whatever. Here, I honestly thought king f7 defends everything, and maybe I'm slightly better because of his bad bishop. Rook takes e5 came as a total surprise, which, yeah, it's not a good sign for my mental state, I guess. Anyway, thanks for the game. Apologies for the flagging. Not really, you know, I like to flag, but still, that was pathetic. Let's play one more game against Beru's 1999 and then call it a day. Go to the gym, clear my head, and hopefully, I'm not sure. The thing with the NBA Finals is I really want to see Game 5, but it starts at 3 a.m. in Germany where I'm at, so I probably won't last all the way. And I guess I should watch it tomorrow morning, but I'll find out in due time and see how I feel about it. It messes with your sleep. But I've watched some games live where, yeah, like I go to sleep. I don't go to sleep earlier, so I get like a nap before from 1 till 3, then I watch it till 6, and then I sleep till 10. It's not ideal. And Beru's doesn't seem to be here, so we're gonna abort that and try to find somebody else for the final game of the day. Once again, noobs are welcome, but you know what? I'll play SD Bates. I've played him before, but according to my records, only once, and he's been a loyal Kibitzer at least for a long time. So high time to give him another shot. I'm steaming a little bit after that last game, so I'll play a bit of a goofy line. I don't really like this line much. It had its moment of popularity. It's knight g7 instead of, what is it? Knight f6, but I never fully trusted it. Still, people have been doing this stuff for a while with mixed success. I don't really know any theory. What am I supposed to do? f5? Is f5 too much? Looks kind of interesting. My point is, nah, I think it's bad. Steaming. My point was d4, fe4, and something takes d5, but the problem is d4, fe4, knight takes e5, which looks very unappealing. ef I'm less scared about, because now I can meet d4 with e4, which might still be interesting after d5, but it doesn't feel terrible. And if I get time here to play whatever, d6, and consolidate, I should be doing kind of alright. Yeah, this is interesting. Now d5. I think if the knight moves, I should be fine with my extra central control. At d5, I wasn't sure what was going on. Ef, dc is a very weird position. He moves the knight, but now, as mentioned, I'm quite happy to have all these pawns in the center, which he's trying to undermine, but it won't be easy to get rid of all of them. While there are holes around the white king already. Bishop b3 is intending to take here twice, but normally I don't blunder pawns, just pieces in one move. So I'm getting out the way and still like my position. Liking my position alone won't get the job done though, so I better make some active moves. This is another weird move. I don't know, I had some idea, but you can just go g3. Yeah, maybe queen g5. Who knows? I'm steaming badly. No real reason to. But still do. g8, he has to go g3. So, oh, g4. More aggressive even. Is there a way to punish him for all his sins? Maybe not. Maybe no immediate punishment. So I'll make moves. Bishop f8, bishop e6, bishop d6, and hope that the weakened king position will tell eventually. Can I do this? I think I can, right? Yeah, black is still better, but I haven't found the most decisive way to cash in on his weakened king, that's for sure. But still, the weaknesses are still there. Can't take on d5 because I take on h2 with check and then I take back. So things are looking pretty good. We'll find out. Queen e2, I could take here if I chose to do so. But I'll just keep moving pieces around. Knight e7, c6, knight g6. Play the slow game, the long con. Or you could just call it playing badly, which would also be accurate. What football is going on? There's Belgium against Italy. If you're watching this live, is that the game that's going on? I'm blissfully unaware of most things Euro football, I have to admit. Too many holes around the king, and as debates, after putting up a good defense, panics by putting his queen on this square where it can be captured, and therefore he resigns. Sorry about that, as debates. Thank you for the game. Black was better here after queen g2, like seriously better because my knights are so jumpy, but the game would have continued, of course. That is it for today. Like, will I go watch football? No, not really. It's probably... I'll find out how Belgium did. I heard Belgium is very good at football, and nowadays they have like a golden generation. I'm going to Belgium on Thursday, so I should probably be up to date on how they've been doing. Thank you guys for watching, for participating. Sorry for the flagging, for the blundering, for the spoiling, for the hair day, for the hoodie, and for... No, that's all I gotta apologize about today. I'll see you... I don't know when I'll see you. Certainly during the Grand Chess Tour over the next weekend, where I'll be doing commentary. I promise I'll dress up for that one. See you next time around. Later.